The afternoon light had bled softly through the curtains of the Nguyen family's new home, an unfinished, echoing structure that seemed to carry the weight of every unspoken memory. It fell in long, muted columns across the narrow hallway. Across the unmoving picture frames, across the cold sheen of the tile floor that still smelled faintly of cement and dust. Outside, the cicadas hummed their relentless hymn to the dying day. Inside, the house held its breath. That was the hour everything shifted. It began not with a scream, nor a clash, nor a shattering, only with James. Standing alone in the half-lit living room, shirt still carrying the faint sourness of anxiety. Hands trembling in a way he had long trained himself to hide. His heartbeat was a trapped animal inside his chest. The silence pressed on him like a verdict. He hadn't thought today would end like this. He hadn't thought coming home would feel like stepping into a room where the air already knew what he did not. The afternoon had started quietly enough. There had even been a moment, a fleeting one. When he allowed himself to believe the new house might finally bring peace, new walls. But the truth was, peace did not follow addresses. New rooms, new possibility. Peace followed acceptance, and acceptance was a language the Nguyen family had never learned to speak. James inhaled, long and shaky. The scent of new paint mixed with the breeze leaking in from the open kitchen window. The house felt too large, too empty, though every sound carried with strange clarity his breaths. The ticking of the wall clock, the faint rustling outside as neighbors moved about with their late afternoon chores. He didn't know his mother had already seen him. He didn't know she had been standing at the doorway, silent. Frozen, unable to decide whether to run to him or to steady herself first. Her eyes had widened at the sight of her son. At the way his shoulders slumped, at the way certain shadows did not come from the afternoon light but from the bruises and exhaustion etched deep beneath his skin. And it was she, not he, who broke the silence, James. The sound of her voice, small yet trembling, sliced through him. His mother, Mrs. He turned. Nguyen, a woman of quiet endurance and unyielding devotion, stood at the threshold. Hands clutching the strap of her handbag so tightly her knuckles had turned white. Her breath caught in her throat. Her son looked broken. Not physically, not in the way others might see, but in the subtle tilt of his gaze. In the silent heaviness around him, in the exhaustion that had seeped into the marrow of who he was. Why are you here?" she asked, as though his presence itself betrayed the very version of him she wanted to believe in. Why do you look like that? What happened to you? James swallowed, eyes dropping to the floor as though he could hide the truth in the tiles. It's complicated, me. No. Her voice cracked. You tell me, right now. His lips parted, but before he could form words. She interrupted again, quieter this time. Did your father do something to you? The question felt like a stone thrown into a deep well. He did not answer right away. His breath stalled, and silence, as it always did in this family, became an admission all on its own. Her heartbeat drummed loud in her ears. For a moment she wasn't sure if the trembling in her hands came from fear or fury, or the crushing possibility that she had failed to protect her son in ways she never knew she needed to. Tell me what happened. He closed his eyes. James, she whispered, and the afternoon light shifted again. A mother waited, still, breathless, standing in the doorway like a figure carved out of shock and dread. James opened his eyes slowly, as though the truth would be easier to carry if he revealed it piece by piece. But nothing about this truth was light. He forced himself to meet her gaze. There was no hiding now, no softening, no pretending. No circling around the things that had gnawed at him for months. Me. His voice cracked, thin from fatigue, thick with unshed explanations. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Her throat tightened. Then how was it supposed to be? He didn't answer. Not yet. He sank down onto the edge of the sofa, newly delivered, hardly used, still wrapped in the faint chemical scent of synthetic fabric. The cushions sagged slightly under his weight. His hands dropped between his knees, trembling just enough that his mother noticed. She stepped closer, each footfall slow and deliberate, as though approaching a wounded animal that might bolt at any sudden movement. When she reached him, she lowered herself onto the seat beside him, joints stiff, the weight of fear visibly settling into her spine. James lifted his head. Look at me, she whispered. Did your father hurt you? The room constricted. Even the cicadas outside seemed to pause. The air thickened. James did not answer. And that, more than any confession, made her breath break sharply in her chest. Oh my God, she whispered. Her hand flew to her mouth as wave after wave of possibilities crashed through her mind. James, my child, what did he do? But this time James shook his head, not in denial, but in warning. Don't jump to that. Don't, he whispered, it's not physical. His mother froze. Somehow, that felt worse. Not physical. What did he say to you? Her voice trembled. What did he do? He looked away again, jaw tightening. The muscles in his neck pulling taut as piano wires. Me? He found out things he wasn't supposed to. About everything. Her eyes widened. About me. Her breath hitched. She had feared this moment for years, a fear that lived quietly in the corners of her mind. Like a shadow she pretended not to see. "James," she said carefully, "what did your father find out?" Silence. Then, finally, where I've been going. Who I've been seeing. What I've been hiding. Her pulse shot upward so fast it made her vision blur. She had never seen her son look so simultaneously young and unbearably old. Her fingers reached for his wrist, gentle, slow, as though afraid he might flinch. "James, look at me." He didn't, so she moved closer, turning fully toward him, and something inside him cracked. "Look at me." He did. The first tear didn't fall, not yet, but she could see it forming. Trembling in the lower corner of his eye, clinging stubbornly until gravity finally claimed it. It slid down his cheek in a silent streak. That was what broke her. She reached out and cupped his face with both hands. Thumbs trembling as they brushed the tear away. "My son, tell me everything. I can't help you if I don't know." James inhaled shakily. He was so close to saying it. Close, but fear, dense, shapeless, suffocating, still clung to him. "Once I say it, I can't take it back. Me, you don't understand, and he will never see me the same way again." She shook her head gently, fiercely. "He already doesn't. That's why you're here, alone, looking like you've been carrying something too heavy for a boy your age." James closed his eyes, not dramatic ones. And the flashbacks came, not violent, but sharp, precise moments that sliced him from the inside. Accusing, cold, his father's voice, strained with disappointment so deep it felt like contempt. The way he had looked at him earlier that day, as though James had betrayed the very essence of what a son should be. His father had cornered him not with fists, but with certainty, with knowledge James never wanted him to have. With conclusions, and worst of all, with the reality that the man had been watching him longer than James realized. James's fingers tightened on his knees. "He said he's been tracking me. Following me." "Checking my phone, my messages, my location history. He said he knows where I've been meeting people, and he knows who they are." His mother's stomach dropped, and he said, James continued, voice trembling, "that I've been shaming the family. That I'm ruining everything he built. That I'm choosing a life he will never accept." The words tasted like metal in his mouth. Nguyen felt the world tilt under her feet. She knew her husband's temper. She knew his rigid expectations. She knew the uncompromising lines he drew in the sand for what a son in this family should be. But she had not known it had come to this, to tracking, to surveillance, to accusations that clung like iron chains around James's ankles. "Oh, James?" Her voice hollowed. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "Because," James whispered, "I didn't know how." "And because he made it clear, if I don't fix myself, he'll fix me." Her blood ran cold. "What does that even mean?" she breathed. "That threat, that word, fix, I don't know." James shook his head, "But he said he's not done talking to me, that we're going to resolve this." "He said he's already close." Already close. James felt her hand freeze against his cheek. Her breath stopped, her eyes widened, pupils shrinking. "James. When did he say that?" "This morning." "And where is he now?" "I don't know." "James, did he say he was coming here?" A long pause. "Yes." The room turned to ice. Mrs. Nguyen stood abruptly, her chair scraping harshly across the tile. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. "We need to leave," she whispered, "right now." James blinked, startled. "What?" "No." She grabbed his arm firmly. "Get your things. Pack a bag. We're not staying in this house tonight." He hesitated, confusion crossing his face. "Me. He's still my father." She stared at him, eyes trembling. Voice breaking with a mixture of fear, clarity, and a mother's instinct sharpened to a blade. "James, listen to me," she whispered. "When a man's pride is wounded, he can do things, terrible things, before he even realizes what he's doing. And your father's pride has always been his deepest weakness." James felt his stomach tighten. "But he is angry," she said. "He feels betrayed, and he knows where you are." Silence. Unbreathing, heavy, cold. "He said he was already close," she repeated, almost to herself, as though the words had only now settled with their true weight. Then she looked at James again. "Pack your things." And the decision was made. Now.